Hey guys, and welcome back to G's Autos. Thank you so much for tuning in. Alrighty, well it's time to get started on the EL in regards to all the repairs that's needed to get it roadworthy and on the road. So I want to wrap this up as soon as I possibly can and get this car registered, roadworthy and registered. So this is the first part of these repair videos, and hopefully it will only go into one more video. So as we were working on it, found a couple of other parts that need to be replaced, so I'll need to order those tomorrow and hopefully get it all finished next week. So a big thanks to my brother for coming up and giving me a hand, greatly appreciated. Anyway guys, enough out of me. I hope you liked the video. If you do, give it a big thumbs up. Please consider subscribing to the channel, that would be absolutely fantastic. Anyway guys, enough out of me. I hope you like it, and I'll see you on the next one. Alright guys, so I'm all set up for today. I'm going to start work on the EL, so I've just got all my tools and sprays and bits and pieces. There's all the parts for today. So I'm just about to get the car jacked up, and then I can start pulling everything off, and then I can start getting into everything. Alright, let's have a look. I've got to put it up on jack stands, and yeah, just start pulling everything off, getting it all ready. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so just going through and taking off these radiator hoses. So that thermostat housing is fairly corroded and looking very, very horrible. So I got that top hose off. This bottom radiator hose has been a bit of an issue. I managed to get that off the top just by wedging underneath it and yanking that off. Now, what I'm going to do here is take off these fans to give me a bit more room so I can take that bottom radiator hose off the radiator. Being a plastic radiator, I don't want to go snapping the outlet for it or inlet, so we'll go through and take off this fan. Now the throttle cable's been removed, all the bolts have been loosened. I just need to get that rear hose off the back. That's a bit tight, so I'll get that one off shortly. Alright, I was struggling to get this hose off the thermostat housing, but I just gently used one of these just to get under the hose, and then a set of multi-grips just to twist that off, and it came off nice and easy. Alright, before taking the fan out, just make sure you disconnect that electrical plug. It's just the two 10 mils, one there and one up this side, and then once you've undone those, that just slides straight up. There's just a couple of locators down the bottom, so it just comes straight up. Now I can get to that bottom radiator hose a lot easier. Alright, that bottom radiator hose, that was an absolute mongrel to get off. It really was. That was a tough one. Anyway, let's have a look at one of the other hoses. There's one on the back of the rocker cover. I found that one fairly tough to get off. You'll see that one down here. I found that fairly tough to get off, so a pair of multi-grips just to wind it back and forth, and then that came off pretty easy. Everything else is done, disconnected, so I'll take that rocker cover off now. Have a look at that, and got the thermostat housing off. This pulley here is no good. Might be worth replacing the water pump, and the radiator is definitely got a bit of an issue. Just down the bottom passenger side there, you'll see a build-up of white goop. Looks like it's leaked out, so I'll need to get another radiator. Alright, I'm going to replace that thermostat, but what I'm going to do now is just go in there with a wire brush and just gently clean up that seat around there where the rubber seal sits in and the thermostat sits in. So I'll just go ahead and do that now. Alright, so I've cleaned up that seat for the thermostat, got rid of all the gunk in there. That's nice and clean now. Just going to take the PCV valve out, have a look at that, see if it rattles, and try and get that cleaned up if it's not. Alright, taking the valve out. There it is there. That rattles, it's nice and free, so that's all good. Alright, the rocker cover is off. I'm liking what I'm seeing. It's looking very clean. It looks like it's been regularly serviced. Well, that's the best engine I've had with when I've lifted the rocker cover off, so that's great. Hope I don't jinx it now and a rod goes flying out the side. But anyway, that's looking good. And now I'll go through and clean up this the mating surfaces between the head and the rocker cover, get all that cleaned up, make sure there's no grunge left on there, and put the rocker cover gasket on. Alright, so I've gone through and cleaned the surface on top of the head. That's come up pretty good. Got all the gunk off. The groove inside the rocker cover was pretty clean, so that one just needed a wipe out with a rag. So that seal's all in there now. Probably going to put a little bit of goop on the bottom of these half moon seals, help it stick, and we should be good. Alright, so I've just removed this tensioner. Now I'm going to replace this pulley here that's making a bit of noise. So I've just picked up a replacement one. That one there. Now there's 3 10mm bolts holding this tensioner in place. Those two there, and that little one's just hidden at the back. Alright, I'll swap out this pulley, measure that up now and get that out. Alright, I've replaced that pulley. So that's a 15mm bolt on there. So flip that over and I'll bolt that straight back on. Alright, the rocker cover gasket is done. My brother got the fun job of doing that one and it was an absolute... But anyway, it's on there now. So it kept falling out of its groove. So it was a tricky one to put on. But all the leads are back on. The cruise control cable, throttle cable, all that's back on. Hoses are all connected. A slight crack in this little connector here, so I'll have to get another one. Thermostat housing's all on. New thermostat is in there. So at the moment, I think I just need to clean up that outlet on the water pump. It's looking a little crusty, and then we'll move on to the hubs with doing the brakes and the discs and everything like that. And doing the serpentine belt was like watching a monkey do brain surgery. I was very, very good at that. It was interesting, but it's on, done. Alright, so we've taken out both uprights in the front end and just about to put in new ball joints. So this upright here, that ball joint's been smacked out of it, so there's just a clip on the back and then punch it out. And the ball joint, did you move the ball joint, the old one? Is that still on the ground? Where did that go? Please hold. And here's the ball joint. So we were tempted to leave that one in because it is in pretty good condition. But we thought, oh, you know what, just to be on the safe side, we'll take that out and we'll put a new one in. Alright, so we got those uprights in yesterday. Got those lower ball joints pressed in. Now, as you know, we press those in ourselves. Now, this is the kit I was using. Now, the problem we had with those uprights is this wouldn't sit square on. So what we had to do was shave a section off it so that we could press the ball joint in square. We did have a bit of an issue and we just went, you know what, let's just shave the edge off this. And after we did that, the ball joints went in nice and easy, but we did muck around with it for a fair bit of time. So this morning I have picked up 2 hub seals, 2 brand new hub seals. Couldn't get a water pump this morning, couldn't get a radiator, so I'll need to order those in on Tuesday. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the radiator. So I just need to disconnect that hose, that upper hose, and that lower hard line, take those out, remove that. I can get the brakes and everything on today with the hubs. So I'm going to do all that stuff now. And then what I'm going to do, I'll do a separate video where I'm going to go through and clean this filthy engine bay. Alright guys, let's do it. Alright, so I've pressed in that first hub seal. Now what I found was that it was flipping on one side and wouldn't go in straight. Once I started off with a small punch, But once I moved over to a bigger one, it just went in so much. It just went in straight and went in so much easier. So I'll now move on to the next one. All right, I've finished punching in that first one, and that one is sitting down nice and snug. All right, so it's time to clean all these bearings and bits and bobs off the front axles. So I'm just starting with the passenger side. So I'm just going to hit it with some degreaser and a toothbrush and start cleaning these up. Alright guys, so I've gone through and cleaned up all these bits and pieces, cleaned up the bearings, got all the gunk out of them. I'll go through now and put new grease on there. So everything's come up really good, and I've done the other side. I've also gone through and cleaned up the spindles. So on both spindles, I've just got in there and cleaned up with a bit of degreaser and a toothbrush and cleaned out that groove there as well. So everything's going to get greased up and put back together. Alright, so it's just started to rain. I'll get these on quickly. That one there, that one there. Hopefully I haven't put too much grease onto these. And I'll just show the stub axles. So I've just lubed them up to make sure they got enough on there. Like I said, hopefully I haven't put too much on there. But anyway, I'll get these on now. Alright guys, unfortunately, rain has set in for today. So I'll be closing things off now. I made a bit of a rookie mistake. I couldn't get the main bearing on this one, on the shaft. There was just the slightest little nick in the shaft. So I did a bit of wet sand with 600 on there, smoothed it down, everything went straight on. So I've got everything on there now on both sides. I'll cover these up out of the rain, and yeah, I'll finish this video up and keep an eye out for part 2. Thanks guys.